I have absolutely no idea. You, the expert, I trust you. And that's ego boosting like few things in the world are. But for me, that should scream danger. Like, what's going on? Red lights, all whole thing. So definitely something to look out for. Though it's fantastic when a client sits there and say, Francois, I don't know, you're the expert. I'll do what you tell me to do. And I don't know. I think the answer lies in fostering true client engagement. And in today's episode, I'm going to share the keys, in Francois' opinion, on what good client engagement look like. And why? Well, I've had this conversation so many times with so many different people, asking the question on different panels that I moderated, and I always get these weird and wonderful answers that has got nothing to do with the question. So today, I want to settle that and more. So stick with us as we get the show started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I just said to the hosts backstage that I'm always so happy when people say hello before we even get started, because it means we're not alone. So thank you so much for being here live on this beautiful Friday morning, at least here in Cape Town. I wish I was in Cape Town. In Joburg, it's a beautiful, beautiful morning. And so we've got, I know Kobus was in the house early this morning. He's in a weird and wonderful place overseas. I'll leave it to him to tell people where he is. But thanks for being here, Kobus. Good morning, good morning. We've got Mark, good morning. Nice to see you again. Terence, I'm seeing you a little bit later. So looking forward to that. Good morning, Tracy, saying hello to everyone. Heloise, good morning. Nice to see you. Mr. Philip Geary, good morning. Good morning. Are you at least in Cape Town? I'm not. So yeah, good stuff. We've got Albert Fritz, good morning. Good morning. Nantes, goeiemorgen. Ek moet eintlik 'n bietjie vir jou bel, Nantes. I've got something I want to ask you. Then Almin, good morning. Good morning. Kuvendra, good morning. Renee, good morning. Mary, good morning. And awesome. Alrighty. So what are we going to talk about today? Today we've got Norma in the house again with Coach's Corner, and she's talking about difficult conversations or how to make them easier. And then I want to share with you 2 amazing technology tips for Outlook. This is going to change your world. I wonder if you know about these 2 very simple things, drag and drop things that will just change your life. So stick with me. I'm going to share that with you. Got a couple of good announcements this morning, and then I'm going to get into the main topic, which is obviously all about client engagement and what the key is to true client engagement and what client engagement is in the mind of Francois. So I do want to share that with you this morning. All right. So let's get the show started and head on over to Mr. David Kopp, who is eagerly awaiting to share current affairs with you. And I'm not going to make him wait. No, I'm going to make you wait. So here we go.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Current Affairs. And we're going to be talking Shoprite Bank, Ponzi schemes, the middle class, stolen coffee pots, Windsor Reward, and performance fees. So Shoprite Bank, the Shoprite Group's money market accounts, which previously only enabled customers to deposit funds and pay for utilities and buy groceries, now provides customers with new transactional banking options, including sending money and making withdrawals. Money market accounts offer banked and unbanked consumers, many of whom are regular customers of the group's scores, access to transactional banking activities that are specifically aimed at their needs. So they get simplicity and transparency. There are no fees or any physical forms with this account. Low-cost banking with no monthly fees, no load fees, no transaction fees, and only a flat fee of R5 for withdrawal. Okay, there are no debit orders or inductions, so they are full in control of their money. Easy access via the mobile phone, and obviously retail hours, so they can bank during their ShopRite hours. So how are they able to offer this fee at no cost? Well, there is going to be no interest paid on any positive balances in the accounts, but you will be able to use it while you are shopping and banking at ShopRite. So another interesting space to this. And how are they doing this? Well, they are partnering with Grindrod Bank. So the Shoprite Group is not looking at becoming a bank, but they are looking at offering additional banking facilities on their transactional accounts. Then, as reported on MoneyWeb, the Pretoria High Court has ordered Standard Bank to freeze the bank accounts of a suspected Ponzi scheme, Lioness South Africa. The application was brought on Sunday evening by Jinlu Lin and her husband, Adrian van der Berg, both members of the multi-level marketing scheme that was founded in Austria in 2003 by Herbert Frindel. The customer loyalty scheme offering discounts and cashbacks to participating merchants and customers. Lioness subsequently spread through roughly 40 countries, operating under a variety of names, including Lysonet and MyWorld. The ex parte, where the court hears the case of only one side, application was brought late on Sunday so that Standard Bank could be served with the order first thing on Monday, the 29th of August, to prevent any transfer of funds out of the company bank accounts. The applicant claims that Lioness and various related schemes are being operated almost solely for illegal and fraudulent purposes. So again, another one to watch. Then, as reported on Business Tech, the cost of being middle class in South Africa. The annual consumer inflation reached a 13-year high, increasing to 7.8% in July. Stats SA data showed, leaving consumers in a vulnerable position financially with soaring costs. Data from FNB estimates that it takes a mere 5 days for middle-income consumers in the country to spend 80% of their monthly salary, which suggests that the middle-income earner, which is somebody who earns between 180,000 and 500,000 Rand per annum, survives on 20% of their salary for more than 20 days. So if we look at some of the costs that we look at, the average take-home pay from BankServe South Africa is about 14,340 Rand. If we look at the average bonded property in South Africa, according to Uber, is a climb to around 1.43 million, with a 10% deposit that amounts to a monthly repayment of 11,579 Rand. First-time buyers, they're spending about 8,000 Rand on their property. Then if we look at data coming from Westbank, the average of new cars financed in June was 352,000, which could be a cost of 7,163 Rand over a 72-month period. Then we look at public school costs. Sanlam estimates that public school is between 30,000 and 60,000 per year, and private schools cost between 100,000 to 200,000 Rand a year. Debt busters estimate that the middle class have 34% less purchasing power in 2022 than they did in 2016. And obviously, medical aids is another big one in the discussion. So the reality is that middle-class South Africans are earning less than they did, particularly in real terms, and costs are just soaring. So there is something that needs to be done from a structural viewpoint to ensure that we can actually get better. The good news is that hopefully the petrol price will be coming down in a couple of days, and we've been spending less on petrol. Then BizNews has a very interesting article and video looking commentator Sean Pesh on performance fees and how they are destroying value. But in our opinion, there are always two sides to every story. So we do suggest that you go over there, have a look at the debate and the discussion, and draw your own conclusions with regards to this. Then lastly, in March 2029, the Russified Hotel in New Orleans decided to celebrate its 125th anniversary by offering a free 7-night stay in its presidential suite, along with complimentary private dinners and spa treatments worth $15,000. But it wasn't a standard giveaway. The prize was only available to persons who returned the most outrageous item they ever stole from the hotel. So the winner was Lee Giuliano, a New Orleans local who returned a stolen coffee pot. So thank you very much and enjoy your day and your weekend.
Alrighty, thank you very much, David. Yes, there's always two sides to any coin, right? And righty, so let's get on with the show. Next up is Norma with Coach's Corner, and let's hear how we can make difficult conversations easier. Definitely something that could be of huge value to each and every single one of us. So let's head on over to Norma and hear what she has to share with us this morning.
Good morning. So my topic for today is how to have easier difficult conversations. So I think this is a topic that most of us dread. For some other reason, we think, having a conversation with another person is going to be difficult. So let's look at it a little bit. Let's look at why we think these conversations are so difficult. And then I just want to share 6 steps with you that would hopefully make it a little bit easier for you. So why do we think these conversations are so difficult? Why do we think we're going to have a difficult conversation? I think it all starts again, as always, in our minds, because if we break it down to the conversation, it really is just words that's being exchanged by 2 humans. And maybe it's something that we feel a little bit uncomfortable sharing with another person. So it all starts with how we think about it. So instead of thinking, this is a difficult conversation, like reframe it or relabel it to ourselves. Like it can be something like, I'm going to have a conversation about a specific, a specific situation or a circumstance with another human. That's going to make us feel more, let's say, more connected, more comfortable. And because we experience that feeling inside our body and we're energized from something different than dread, that makes the action so much easier. So the steps I want to share with you really is very simple, and it might already be stuff that you do. So just remind yourself of these couple of things when thinking of having that conversation. So firstly, the why. Why do I want to have this conversation? And if I established why, then I have to like my reason. So if it's coming from that place of, I would just want to tell this person what they did wrong, then that might not be the best place, to start the conversation from. So firstly, know why I want to have the conversation, and I want to like my reason so that, I can feel comfortable having it. The second one is to know the result that I want. So what is the goal of having this conversation? So for me, let's say in a personal relationship, it is maybe to know that, I want to be a better communicator. Or if I'm an employer, I want to make sure that my employee knows what is expected of them. So that makes it already a little bit easier to know that I'm going to have the conversation and this is going to be the outcome. And also know that, the other person might not comply. So I might have expectations of that person, and that person might not necessarily follow through on those expectations. And I think this is then the perfect time to also have that boundary conversation. For instance, if I have a conversation with my kids around certain things that needs to be done in the house, then, if they don't do it, I'm not going to not love them less. There's just going to be consequences to it. The same in a work environment. This is the expectation I have of my employees. And if they don't follow those expectations, there will be consequences. So then number 3 is very important. This is, we have to self-coach ourselves before the actual conversation, just to make sure that we're coming from a clean, neutral place. Being in a neutral, positive place makes the conversation so much easier, and for the other person to really accept what we're saying so much easier than coming from that negative space. So the self-coaching is quite important, step 3. Then number 4 is to plan the conversation. So we need to make sure that, we at least think of what we, what we're going to say, what the result is, as I've mentioned, what we want out of the conversation. And what I find works well is to start off with something that's called a cushion. So that just means that I'm going into the conversation with something, like the following. Saying, I have something that I want to talk to you about, which is very, it's difficult for me to say, and it might be not easy for you to hear, but because I treasure our relationship, or, I love you as an employee, or whatever the case is, I feel it's necessary to have this conversation. So that's always good to start off with. Then also to stick with the facts, because a lot of times we want to tell our story about the incident instead of giving facts and, using also examples. And then opening up the conversation to, actual listening and making sure that the other person has, time to speak their mind as well. And to be open and be curious about what the other person say. Because a lot of times we don't know what is happening in someone's life, and there might be very good reason why they're acting in a certain way. Then number 5 is to practice. So practice what you want to say, like mental rehearse it or share it with a friend. And then lastly, to actually sit down and then have this conversation with the person. So this is what I have for you today about difficult conversations. I hope I've given you a little bit of things to remind you of before actually going into that conversation. So have a great weekend. I'll see you again next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Norma. And just quickly before I get on to the technology segment, I want to share 2 really mind-blowing, amazing tricks, hacks, whatever it is, but it's going to change your life if you're using Outlook. So do bear with me. But let me just quickly, I saw there were some people who sneaked in after we said hello to everyone. There's a Johan Blomeres. Good morning, Johan. Nelson over on LinkedIn. Good morning. And we've got Jonita Wilman. Good morning. And there you go, Amanda. Morning. Righty. So next up, we are talking technology. And but first, on the other side of this. Yeah. Alrighty. So let me just bring this up on the screen because I want to show you, I have to show you what this is. Right. So there you go. Got that one. Just make sure I'm sharing the right screen here. All right. So let me do this. Right. So how often does it happen that you receive an email and you need to do something about it? And as you can see, I mean, really, I just started doing this now, this week, right? So this is brand new to me as well. And that's why I said, this is mind blowing. I can't believe that I didn't know this. And if you look at my email inbox, it's because I use it as a freaking to-do list most of the time. And obviously there's a lot of things that I don't read because they're not important. And yeah, I'm supposed to move them out. And at one stage I was very much in control, and then you lose control. You know how it goes. So, but please don't focus on that number. What I do want to show you is a simple way now to stop using your inbox as a to-do list, number 1. And then the second thing I want to show you is how often is it that you receive an invite to somewhere or you register for an event and then you need to get that into your calendar. But the email does not give you the option to go add to calendar. And so many people have been emailing me and saying, Francois, but there's no add to calendar thing. And even if we do it, then the unique links for this, it's just a mess, right? So there is an easy way that when you get an email confirming your registration with a link, with a whatever, to get it into your calendar, very, very simply, without having to go and create stuff. So I'm going to show you those 2 things, right? So first one is, let's just say, for example, I got this ESET, it's our antivirus cyber protection kind of software. And it had to be renewed, right? So obviously, we wait until the last day before we renew, but like most people do, I assume. And but I need to remember this. But now what I usually do is I leave this in my inbox until I get time to go and do something about it. And then there's 6 million other messages coming in, and then I forget about it. Simple. But now there's a very, very simple way. All you do is you take that email, you click it with your left mouse button or whatever is your main click button on your maybe you're left-handed, and then your right button might be your primary one. But anyway, so you click on it and you drag it over to your tasks. So you see here on the left-hand side, there is the task icon. When you let go of the mouse, it will then bring up, and I see the screen is not bringing this up. Let me just share this with you, what has just come up on the screen. I must maybe just share the entire screen, and that'll make it a bit easier. So let's do that. Right. There you go. Right. So now it's created the entire task for me. There it is. So very, very happy. Everything is in there. The whole, whatever was in the body of the email is automatically included. And I can go to insert. If I click on insert and I go Outlook item, then I can even go to, let's just go, there was this demo folder. I can go and attach this original email here as well. So I've got access to the email, and now it's sitting there. I can just go and save and close. And now I can delete this email. I can move it. I can do whatever I want with it because there is now a task. And if I work on the task, which is meant for you to do, then that is amazing. Right. The other one works exactly the same. So I received this registration confirmation for the upcoming retirement and tax CPD session on the 6th of September. And I want to put this into my diary. Now, we've got an add to calendar link down here. But the problem is because there's a unique link that every single person gets a unique link, we can't put it into the calendar link. There's no way for us to do that. So if we do that, we'll have, if 200 people register, then 200, we will have 200 of these things on the system that creates these links. So that's not going to work. And but there's a very easy way to get this into your calendar. You guessed it. You click it, drag it onto your calendar, let it go, right? And there you go. All the detail put into the email. And all you need to do is put the date and time because it won't know that from the email. So you just change the date and time and you hit save and close. And again, you can also here go to insert Outlook item and you can attach any email to this that you want. Now, how freaking amazing is that? I don't know. Tell me in the chat, in the comments, if you knew this, if you didn't, like what you think about it. And then let's get on with the rest of today's show. Alrighty. When you hear the music, you know it is time for some announcements. Righty, so let's do some announcements. So first one is that the speaker and influencer program applications is going to open very, very soon. So if you haven't registered your interest yet, you can go to financialplanningconference.global. That's financialplanningconference.global. You can go and register your interest there. Now, remember the Speaker and Influencer program, the whole idea, apart from the fact that it's a award-winning program, it's now the third year that we're offering this in South Africa. It's part of a global program where you get to meet people from around the world that is also participating with us. There are international speaker coaches that has been with us, and we've got new ones coming in this year, and really looking forward to that. And what this program is really about is we're going to teach you how to craft your message, right? That's number one. The one thing that I've taken away from doing this program 2 years ago is that it's not about the speaking so much. It is a lot more about structuring your message. So we go deep into that and we help you, we guide you, and to be able to do that. And then also, obviously, we're going to help you build the confidence to deliver that message with confidence, right? So that's very important, and we're going to do all of that. And at the end of the day, if you complete this successfully, you'll get a chance to speak at the Global Financial Planning Conference in 2023, which is a virtual conference. Third year we're hosting it, or that South Africa is part of this. It's a true global experience, true global virtual event, and really looking forward to that as well. So go to financialplanningconference.global and register your interest. We'll be in touch, and soon, somewhere now in the next couple of weeks, to give you where you need to go and apply, because there is an application process, because this is like a sponsored program. So you as the participant don't pay, but we don't let anyone just into the program, because if I give it to you and you're not committed, it means that somebody else who was committed is going to lose out. So there is an application process. There is a panel that looks at these. We do interviews, and then we decide like who do we let in, and there's only limited spaces for each country. So there's usually 30. So do go and register your interest right now. We've already received many registrations for this. So do go add your name to that. It's really made a massive difference in a lot of people's lives. I see so many of the people who completed this now being on radio, speaking on TV, like it's amazing. So don't miss out on this amazing opportunity. Righty, then next one is Taxspace. This was now launched. So just a very quick reminder that with Taxspace, it was really an amazing opportunity or day for me to launch this on Tuesday, is when we launched it officially. And I quickly want to play you the video from that session. And it's a very quick one. So yeah, watch this just very quickly if you missed the launch. Yeah, man, that's just bloody awesome. So if you haven't yet, go check it out at taxspace.app. So www.taxspace.app. And you can also book a demo just going to taxspace.app/demo. But there's also links on the site where you can just click a button and go book a demo if you're interested. And you also get a 7-day free trial. So go and check it out. Alrighty, then the next one is the FBI convention is happening the 19th and 20th of October at the Indaba Hotel in Fourways. So really looking forward to that one as well. The theme is the time is now. Now, how amazing is that? The time is now. So if you're interested, whether you're a member or not, so both members and non-members can attend. There's a difference in pricing, but go check it out. You can go to the FBI website, so fbi.co.za/FBI convention, right? Or just go to the FBI website and click on events and you'll also find the link there. But I will put all these links down below in the description after the show, so you can go and just find it there easily as well here on the YouTube channel. Righty, so that's the FBI convention. And then the last thing I do want to make you aware of, I don't know if you know, but LeaderX is back. So that's happening the 13th to the 15th of September at Sandton Convention Center. So looking forward to that. I'm going to be there for all 3 days. Really looking forward to that event. This is a massive, massive event. Really missed this one. So come and join us. Let's meet up, let's have a chat, and let's go learn and experience and network together. Also on the 15th, there is a massive, I think it's called Money Expo. So the FBI is heavily involved there. A lot of the members are involved. So please come and say hi. And, this is if you're looking for a place to come and network and build relationships, this is the place. So LeaderX, 13 to 15 September. You don't have to go all 3 days, but go look at the website, leaderx.com, and you can find all the information there. So leaderx.com. All right. I am almost out of breath now. So let's get into today's topic, which is all about client engagement and what is true client engagement. So on the other side of this. Alrighty, so let's get started. Now, I think I want to start off with what client engagement is not. And it's very important to start there because as I said in the intro, right in the beginning, is that I've asked this question on so many different panels at so many different events where I was asking about specifically, because usually I moderate a lot of technology sort of based or practice management based panels, and part of it is, how does your system help drive client engagement? And the answers I get is everywhere except on what I believe client engagement is and what it means. So I mean, even if you go Google what client engagement is, you get a completely different answer. It's all about building loyalty and building brand affinity and all sorts of stuff. It's it almost seems like what they're saying is communicate the hell out of your client, be in touch so that you stay top of mind. And that means that, you'll have a highly engaged sort of client. But the other part of it is also things like social media. We believe when we think about client engagement, it means that we're having a conversation on social media. That's absolutely amazing. It's not, right? So for me, I don't know. Social media, I don't know if that's where it's at. Then also, if you are doing regular reviews, a lot of people feel like, I have regular engagement with my client. I have regular meetings. I do my annual reviews. I do my quarterly reviews. I phone them on their birthday. I do all these kind of things. So there's regular engagement. Other people feel like, it's having an amazing self-service kind of technology and giving them access to information. That's great client engagement because the client can go on at 12 o'clock at night and go look at the information and send me a message and things like that. I don't think that's client engagement. So in my view, none of the stuff that I've just shared with you, none of the points has got anything to do with client engagement. What they do feel to me like what they do have to do with is more client experience. And client experience and client engagement is absolutely not the same thing. So then in my mind, what is client engagement? When we talk about that, what are we really, really talking about? For me, when you think about client engagement, it is much more about collaboration. It's much more about co-creation. So it's maybe another way to put it is to say it's a meeting of minds, right? So it's where both of us contribute, both of us work together, both of us do all of that to come up with an answer. That for me is true client engagement. It's about both of us, the financial planner as well as the client or clients, whoever you're meeting with, engaging in conversation and, very importantly, debate. This isn't the case of like, I say things and they go, yes, yes, yes. That's not engagement. Engagement is where you have a conversation. And maybe you feel like what Norma just shared is like, I don't want that. That's going to lead to difficult conversations. That's where the value is. That's how we unlock this relationship. This is really how you have proper engagement with a client. Both must be engaged in writing and drawing and, linking things. Like, you've got to be actively involved. Somebody can't just sit there and one person is doing all the talking and all the writing and all of that stuff. Both must be engaged in thinking through things. So you've got to think about things. You've really got to sort of ponder before just responding. So it can't just be you as the financial planner or advisor looking at somebody's planning, doing the analysis and coming back with the answers. The client also needs to be part of that process. They need to do part of the thinking. They need to come up with scenarios and solutions and what they think is going to work. And both must be engaged in learning and analyzing, because we never know everything. I spoke about this last week, if I recall correctly. The day that you and I believe that we have seen everything, that we can't be taught anything anymore, that we're now at the pinnacle and we then we're starting to lose. So we need to keep learning. The client needs to learn, and we need to learn together. And often it is also about learning more about your client. It's not always just learning about how to deal with clients. So, more soft skills, more technical skills, technology. It's not all about that. All right. So for me, that is what client engagement is. It is this constant working together, interaction, and there is effort and energy being invested into the conversation by both parties. It's not just one, right? That is true through client engagement. So now that we know what it's not, that all the things that we've sort of put in the client engagement bucket is actually maybe more client experience stuff. We've sort of spoken about what client engagement is then, like where it is. I guess the next question would be, but where do I create opportunities for engagement, like proper engagement? And I think one of the biggest missed opportunities for good engagement, because also, just think about how you build relationships. If you don't build relationships, then nothing's going to work out for you. Not in your personal life, not in business, nowhere, right? But it's when you have these conversations, when you do things together, when you experience things together, that's when there's a real relationship that forms. And I think there's no better place where that happens is with education. And here I'm not referring to, doing a proper qualification or something like that. All I'm really talking about here is helping the client understand more about financial planning, investments, risk, wills, whatever the area is, right? And to help them sort of synthesize that and to start to apply it in their own lives so they can make it their own. So being their guide and helping them and sharing with them and taking them on a journey of almost self-discovery through this education process. So that is what education for me is about. So there is no better place to have a conversation where the client will actually ask you a lot of questions. They will engage with you. They will talk with you. They won't just sit there. So education is a massive, massive opportunity. Right. So next one, meetings. Meetings is another big opportunity for. Sorry, I'm getting feedback on my microphone. So meetings is a big opportunity, for client engagement. And you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a structure and a system and a process for this to unlock this. And you've got to be inviting and you've got to encourage their participation, because that is what engagement is. It's participation. If you sit on the sideline watching a rugby game, you're not participating, or even though it feels to you like you're just watching the game. You're not the person playing the game. And often you sit there and you feel like, oh, I wish I was on the field. I wish I could do just like, look at the gap. We can take the gap and we can run. Like, that's what you really want to do. So meetings, that's the place, right? But you've got to think it through. You've got to have a way of asking certain questions, inviting them, making them feel comfortable. Like if they don't understand something, it becomes, but let me explain, let me show you, let me help you understand this, so that they feel safe in that environment and don't feel like, oh, I'm going to ask a stupid question. You do not want that. So that is definitely a big one. I think another one, and this is really where you can have somebody become engaged, is, and this is, I guess, possible. There are technologies actually that you can use if you want to do this virtual. It's obviously amazing when you're together in person, but whiteboarding. So if you can both be, I saw a video clip the other day of Anita Forster and her partner over in Roger Harrop over in the UK, because she flew over there, and then they were workshopping things together, and both of them were on the whiteboard and writing things and like scratching things out. And I just thought to myself, now that is engagement. That is collaboration. That is co-creation. That is what it is all about. So how do we invite clients? Come, draw me, like, where does this fit in? Where does this? It's just a way of doing this. And maybe the first time you try this, it will be uncomfortable, and maybe it'll even be a stuff up. But the more you do it, the more you learn. Like, nothing I'm going to share with you today is going to happen unless you start doing it. And even though it sounds easy, until you have the conversation and you ask a question and the client sits there, because they didn't expect that. They used to sitting there listening to what we have to say and then responding at the end with, I don't know, Francois, you're the expert. You tell me, and then I trust you. I'm happy to do that. And that's why I say that is probably the most dangerous thing that you'll ever hear a client say, because it means that they're not engaged. They're not there. They probably missed 75% of what we shared with them. The last engagement opportunity is events. So if you think about events, it's an amazing opportunity. And this can be events in various different forms. The other day, I was invited by one of the tech providers to go to the rugby. Really had a phenomenal time. We had such great conversation before the time, something that would never have happened unless they invited me to the rugby. So I'm extremely grateful for that. So one, I got to know them better. Two, we really got to talk about a few things, and I gained more understanding about them. They gained more understanding about me, and I met other clients of theirs, which is amazing. So events can be as simple as taking somebody to the barnyard, or it could be like hosting a client appreciation event. And we've spoken about events on this in season 1, somewhere in the 20s, episode 20s, I think 23 and 24. We spoke about how you can do different kind of events and how important it is. But events, taking people to LeaderX, phone a few of your clients and take them to LeaderX. Why not? So, there's opportunity there for true engagement and having a conversation about things other than money, probably, which is extremely powerful. Right. So we've got what client engagement is not. Spoken about what client engagement is, what the different opportunities are. But how do you gauge engagement levels? Okay. How do you gauge? How do you measure? How do you look for signs that somebody is engaged or they're not, or they're somewhat, or they're not? So yeah, for me, the first one is the blank stare, right? Versus somebody driving the conversation. Yes, this person is talking and asking questions, and they're interested about what's happening. They want to share information with you almost spontaneously without you having to drag things out. I mean, how often have you been in conversations where you drag things out of clients? You ask a question and you get a yes, no answer. Well, yeah, we need to ask better questions, but the client's not engaged. He's there because his wife told him to go, or his mind is with his business or whatever. But that's the first one. So if you get that, it looks like people like they're sitting there. Yeah, I hear you. But that's a blank stare, ladies and gentlemen. That is a blank stare. The second one is the you know best response that I've now mentioned quite a few times, versus really somebody that is engaged with you will be debating the options, talking about the scenarios, making sure that they understand the different options that you're putting on the table. Instead of taking the easy way out to go, I don't know, Francois, you know best. Which option should I use? I trust you. Fantastic, Francois. You are amazing. But the client is not engaged. Tomorrow they will cancel that plan like that because there was no thinking, no nothing that went into that. And again, this isn't the case with all your clients. You can probably sit down and think about clients that, wow, now that I think about it, client A, B, and C, we have fantastic engagement and the rest of the alphabet is just like nowhere. So it's not to say that this is the case with all your clients, but do go and look for these signs. The other thing is how often they initiate conversations or meetings. How often do they get in contact when something changes? How often do they let you know, look, something's happened, or you hear from them regularly? I think that is a clear indication of how engaged somebody really is. Then how often they refer the right clients to you without you even asking. If you've got to go sit down and ask for referrals, that is the old way of doing things. Okay, and maybe in the beginning when you're new, you have to go that route. So listen, like, do you have anybody that can benefit from, like, I mean, that is the worst thing to do. It's not lucky to do it, right? It's not an enjoyable thing to do, but it's a necessary thing that we have to do. But ultimately, you don't want to do that. Your clients should just be referring the right clients to you because they are so engaged. They, through that engagement, understand exactly what it is that you're doing. And therefore, they send more clients like them to you. And then also another clear indication for me is when you keep getting unsolicited feedback and input from your clients of how you can improve things or what they need, or they let you know what they're thinking about. So those things are all very clear guides of how engaged a client is, right? There's many more, but there are 5 for you that you can at least use. Choose 1 or 2 of these and just sort of think about them and look at your clients. Right. Then using technology to drive client engagement. I think often, again, as I said earlier, people think about technology as the thing like, let me give you access to your information and you can go and update things and send me messages, and that's all part of client experience and making it easy to do business with you. It's got nothing to do with client engagement. Things like that does not drive engagement. They don't. But technology, there's sort of 2 sides, right? There's 2 ways that you can do this. There's either synchronous or there's asynchronous. You know how many times I practice to say those 2 words correctly. Synchronous means it's live and we talk. I say something, you say something. I say something, it's in real time. Asynchronous is pretty much like a WhatsApp. I will type something, you will respond half an hour later, I will respond an hour later, you will respond immediately, I will respond a day later. That's asynchronous. So it's sort of a conversation and there's engagement and collaboration, but it's not in real time. So you get different technologies that make both of those possible. So depending on the situation, depending on the need, you want to do both of those. So you do want to look for either a technology that allow both, or like, do you have technology that supports asynchronous as well as technology that supports synchronous? So something like asynchronous might be WhatsApp, synchronous might be Zoom or Teams or something like that. Right, then coming back to the education part, recorded learning modules. And you remember when I had Stefan and Werner on the show from Money and Medicine, they are putting out training. I think Mary J. Fourie and Marguerite Engelbrecht with My Journey to Freedom, I think they put out learning content for their clients. So be it for free, be it paid, it doesn't matter, but there's recorded learning content that you can refer people to that they can go through in their own time, and you can invite them and follow up with them to see if they've got any questions that you can answer, help explain, help clarify. But that is a way to use technology to leverage your time, okay? Then multimedia. Technology makes it possible to create an experience while somebody is engaging with you by using different media. So be it images, be it video, be it writing together on a document, be it something like Miro, where you can drag things around and sort of collaborate. It's almost like a big whiteboard with sticky notes on it, and you can write and type and do all sorts of things. So, but you can have a rich multimedia environment if you do it virtually. Now, obviously, you've got to think about that when you do it in your office, right? Then also, if you think about technology as a way to drive client engagement, that must be an option. It shouldn't be, guys, I mean, you can, I guess, decide that this is the way we work. So only people that are comfortable doing it this way would be our right client, and that's perfect. That is a business decision. But also, if you have different clients with different appetites for these kind of things, the technology route is one option. You must still provide other options. And then I think what you also need to do is remove the barriers to getting in contact with your business. So something like Profile Me, for example, where you have different options, and I can click on WhatsApp, I can call you, I can just set up a meeting straight from there in your diary, whatever it may be. But just remove those barriers of how people can get into your system. Somebody told me in the week that they are looking at a sort of solution where it doesn't matter how you contact the business, be it you send an SMS, a WhatsApp, an email, however it goes, it takes all that stuff, puts it into a bucket where everybody can deal with it, and it will respond back in the same fashion as how you contacted the business. So you still make it easy internally by having the right systems in place and just grabbing things from where they're coming from, deal with them centrally, and then just make sure that they go back in the same fashion. But that is a way to drive engagement. Make it easy for people to engage with you and talk with you, and you can encourage that and just have a completely different business. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on client engagement. What do you think? What does client engagement mean to you? And what have you done that's been successful? What have you learned? What are the things that you've tried and that hasn't worked? Do share them in the chat. Cool. Let's have a look at the comments quickly. There's been quite a few. Let me just see. Morning, Julie. Morning, Dirk. Nice to see you as well. Been using for years. Yes, great hack. Thank you very much, Dirk. So, Terence, you and I will have a conversation if you've been using that for years, why you haven't shared that with anyone. You and I will have a coffee this afternoon and discuss. Alrighty, so Melody said this is very interesting. Thank you. Good stuff. Has always been a struggle. It's a pleasure. Kubus, right? Good morning, Vilizani. And Amanda says, love it. Good stuff. Thank you, Franz and Razan, giving 4 ladies from an opportunity for the previous Speaker and Influencer program. They got so much value. It's a pleasure, Amanda. And then Andrew's asking, is Taxspace mobile friendly? It is on tablet, so not on a phone at this stage, but it is working on a tablet. So if not, let me know. We'll have a look at it. Righty, so good stuff. Good morning, Ben. Co-creation through client interaction. Thank you very much. Jonita says relationship building is at the heart of financial planning. And love that tool, says Amanda. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Really appreciate you being here. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. And have a great weekend. Be safe, be blessed, and remember to raise the bar. Love you. Bye-bye.